Nick Diaz has been released from Mexican rehab and is back training with his longtime friend Jake Shields at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas. Now, there's a lot of conflating reports on everything related to this. We're going to get to the bottom of this right now because, as you see right here, he's with Martin Sano Jr. as well. Okay. Martin Sano Jr. has been accused of doing Nick dirty by close members of the Diaz brother army, right? Meaning Jose Garcia, aka BJJ Ninja Recovery. He's a close friend of Nate Diaz's as we speak. You know, he's been saying some things about Martin Sano that we're going to get into, but I'm just letting you know now, Martin Sano has been accused of basically being a bad friend of Nick Diaz over the last 1.5 to 2 years from close members of the Diaz army, of Team Diaz. Okay, when I say Diaz army, I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the actual team. Now, here's the training footage. All right, there we go. And then for those wondering, oh, you know, is this real recent training footage or not? Well, Jake Shields captioned the post by saying, a little play sparring with Nick Diaz this morning. Nick was my top sparring partner for over 15 years, so it's good to get back together and train. Here's also a new video of Nick in a casino after being released from rehab. There with Martin Sano Jr. All right, so two things. One, Nick wants me to say something nice about his girl. He says he was posted up in rehab for a year, watching me trash her. So, you know what, Nick? Shout out to Kay. Kay's a good woman. And actually, I'll give you guys a real story. Yesterday, I saw Kay posting about Nick Diaz on Instagram, and I reached out to her asking if I could get a little bit of a statement about Nick's current status. You know, what's going on with Nick? Can you give us an official update? No bullshit. She told me she got to talk to Nick. She'll get back to me. Okay. I sent her another message. I didn't hear from her. But today, Nick messaged me. And I think it's because Kay told him that I was looking for a statement. So shout out to Kay for that. I'm assuming that Kay told him to reach out to me. But if that is the case, shout out to Kay. I apologize for negative things I may have said about Kay. But as I told Mr. Nick Diaz, I was only saying those negative things because of what Jose Garcia, BBJ Ninja Recovery, was saying about her. And I believed him because he's literally kicking it with Nate every single day. And I thought if he was lying about Nick on Nick's name, Nate would have been slapped his ass. Now, apparently, you know, Jose has been lying on Nick's name, apparently. Okay. But Nick also says, as far as like not wanting to come on, he's not down to come on right now. But he says, let me get a fight, then I'll come on. You can tell them that. So there we go. Nick says once he gets a fight booked, he'll come on stream. And he told me to tell you guys that. Okay, so let's go into some other stuff right now. Let's go into some other stuff right now because you hear me keep mentioning BBJ Ninja Recovery. All right, I'm going to let you know right now, Nick says he's crazy. Nick is telling me in the DMs that BBJ Ninja Recovery's lost his damn mind. Okay, so I mean, we really got to go back on this because he's been posting up a frenzy. Okay, so he posted this about Nick a while ago. We've already kind of covered this. Now, the story about this video right here is that this footage, when BBJ Ninja Recovery posted this 3 weeks ago, saying update, Nick is in better health, been clean and sober for almost a year, fuck Kayla, fuck Martin Sano. What's crazy is like what the truth that I'm about to tell you. Okay, like I said, Jose Garcia is BBJ Ninja Recovery. All right, so Jose posted this video 3 weeks ago. Like I said, he put Nick is in better health condition, been clean and sober for almost a year. Fuck Kayla, fuck Martin. Now, what does he say in this video? Hey, I'm doing good. I'm gonna be home soon. I give permission to this company to get these squatters out of my house, aka Kayla, his girlfriend, aka Martin Sano, right? Let me play it.
Hey, I'm Nick Diaz. I like Squatter Squad and Ruben deal and my family to take care of my house. I'm currently focused on my health, and I'll be home soon.
So Squatter Squad, Ruben, someone and his family to take care of my house, right? Ruben also, Nick is saying, is crazy. So here's the backstory behind this video. This video was not taken 3 weeks ago. This video was a year old, according to Kay, Nick's girlfriend. And number two, Nick was forced to send this video in from his family. His family forced him to send this video in. Then they used this footage to get his girlfriend Kay removed from his house, even though that's not what he wanted. All right, I'm just sharing this with you guys. So when Jose Garcia says fuck Kay, fuck Martin, that's because this video helped get them kicked out of his house temporarily. Eventually, Nick went back on the eviction, and he allowed Kay to go back in his home. But this isn't what Nick wanted, right? Nick was forced to send this video in a year ago, and his family used it to get them kicked out of his house. Now, here's more stuff, okay? We're going to go to the most recent stuff, then we're going to work our way back. I think that makes more sense. Here's Jose Garcia posting, Martin Sano knocked out. Karma is not done. Broke, KO, fraud, domestic violence, restraining order, whatever all this means.
Boy, you weak ass.
Okay, and get ready. Get ready for what you're about to hear in this. BBJ Ninja Recovery, 5 days ago, posted a secretly recorded phone call or something like that. Just read this. Posting this on behalf of Nick's advocates. This audio file is a conversation between Kayla, Nick's girlfriend, and the ex-wife of Martin Sano. Martin is in the background coaching Kayla. Not only is this violating the no contact order, restraining order of Martin's ex against Martin, it is violating the restraining order by the Las Vegas courts, preventing contact of Martin and Kayla as Martin beat up Kayla. These two are the clowns that have been in charge of Nick's life for the past several years while he's been deeply involved in narcotics use. Controlling all his social media accounts, his cell phone, and iCloud accounts. his emails taking money from fans for signings that Nick never showed up to that he didn't know about, enabling Nick and grifting off Nick for many, many years, scamming fans on signings, showings, even the parents of a child with cancer, and committing wire, check, and credit card fraud. Kayla even threatened Nick with arrest if he returned back to his own house, and no, Nick didn't tell any judge that she could stay there. She's a squatter with her dad, Greg Ramos, and unfortunately, the IRS will auction his house to sell because of Kayla. If Nick ever ends up in a mental ward and into permanent psychosis due to rampant drug use, it's due to these two addicts. You can obviously tell Kayla is on drugs as well. Cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and meth is one hell of a mixture. She's done the fentanyl fold before. Damn.
Upset that my
Okay, so this is literally a recorded phone conversation between, like I said, I believe Kay, Nick's girlfriend, and Martin Sano's ex. Let me read the caption to you. At the end of this long post is the conversation between Kay, the ex-girlfriend, and Nicole, the ex-wife of this bum, Martin Sano Jr. You can hear Martin in the background of the conversation coaching Kayla during the conversation. Breaking news, Nick Diaz 2026 update for those who want to see Nick Diaz be successful in his recovery. I'm posting for Nick Diaz 209 advocate and family. This conversation between Martin Sano's ex-wife Nicole and the ex-girlfriend of Nick Diaz. Both Martin Sano and Kayla are currently still squatting in Nick's house. The letter was forwarded to me by Nick's advocate and advisor to post. The text letter explains to all of us what's happening with Nick Diaz's situation, hoping that this will answer all of your questions about Diaz's recovery. We all want to see Nick away from people that are negative for his recovery and mental health. You got this, Nick. We are all rooting for your successful graduation of your program, bro. Now, what's crazy is that Nick doesn't support this. We've been wondering this for months, right? Does Nick support this? Does Nick support Jose Garcia posting all this stuff about him? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And it's just crazy because Jose Garcia seems like he's coming from a good place. So that's why I've been so confused. But, I can't explain everything. All I can do is ask questions. Luckily, Nick was answering my questions. And I'm telling you right now, I asked him, why is Jose posting stuff about you if it's not true? And he says Jose's old and lost his damn mind. I'm going to read you the DMs, but we're going to watch this recorded phone conversation right now between Kayla and Nicole. Kayla, Nick's ex-girlfriend or current girlfriend. Nicole, Martin Sano Jr.'s ex-wife.
pussy is pink and good and Nick loves it. Okay? Fuck off. If I want to pay my fucking property taxes and pussy, I can. Okay?
Yeah. You deserve an award.
Yeah, damn.
You
What?
deserve an award.
Yeah, I do.
Congrats.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know Nick's a whore. He's fucked everybody, but he doesn't want you guys. Like, he said it again and again, like that you guys, Junior is a part of Nick and I's life. Okay?
Junior is Martin Sano Jr.
Okay?
And Kay's about to say that basically, I don't know if she's joking or what, but she's about to say that her, Nick, and Martin Sano are all three in a relationship. And when Nick gets out of rehab, she's going to try to have a baby with the both of them. I'm not making this up. You're about to hear it. But I'm just letting you know what you're about to hear in case you almost, don't even understand it. And it goes right past you.
He is a huge part of our life, and he's never going to go away. Nick is my man, and Junior's going to be right there forever. Okay? So I don't understand what you want. You want him to step up and be a father to his children? Well, guess what? I just fucking sent him over there to fucking Coco's. Or whatever the fucking hell her name is. Why I don't send him over there to you? Like, because you're a bitch.
I didn't.
You have an
realize
order
were
of
his
protection on him.
keeper. I didn't realize you were his keeper, and you send him places.
100%. We're a family. Me, Nick, and Martin. We're all together. Like it's like a three. Me, Nick, and Martin. Did you not know that? It's always been like that, but it's more better now.
Didn't you threaten Martin at knife point in an apartment in Vegas only a couple years ago?
I don't know what you're talking about. With my pussy? I don't
You
know what
keep
you're talking
knives
about.
in your pussy?
It's,
Oof.
well, I'm like, everyone keeps coming back. No, but babe, like Martin's my man. Nick's my man. Like they're good. They love each other. Like I love them. Like I don't understand why everyone's fucking like has a problem with this. Do you have a problem with this? Yeah, he has me and Nick. We're all like me, Nick, and Martin. We're trying for a baby right now. As
That's
soon as
good.
Nick comes home, as soon as Nick comes home, I'm trying for a baby with Martin and Nick.
That's perfect. I hope they end up just
Yeah.
like you.
Just like me, like what?
Just like you.
How so?
Okay, so you heard the conversation firsthand, right? Meow Boy says she pays her property tax in what? Tell her I said what's up. Oh, shout out Meow Boy. He's willing to pay. How much you willing to pay, Meow Boy? Now, there's more backstory. We covered this a while ago, about 3 weeks ago when it got posted, but we're gonna go over it again because now Nick's out. We should cover the story in its entirety. Okay, so here's what Jose Garcia posted 3 weeks ago. A screenshot from K209. Yes, there was Nick Diaz versus Kayla without Nick's permission. His mother and his cousin Ruben, whom he hadn't seen in 10 years, filed a restraining order in SJ County, typed it out, and signed Nick's name to it. They did this to use as an eviction tool to get me out of his house while Nick is away, but wrote it out impersonating Nick exactly like they were Nick, as if it was Nick speaking directly about me with a sworn affidavit that she signed too. After Nick's mother called the sheriffs with a fake domestic violence and I was arrested because she told them it was her home, untrue, and also filed a false report and said that Nick was living at the property even though he was in the facility 800 miles away. Nick did not give her permission to take me out of the home or make these calls. SJ sheriffs came with a dozen SUVs with guns and canines looking for Nick. If Nick was here, he could have been harmed in a standoff. All because she lied and then gave them permission to break my door down, and I went to jail over fraudulent paperwork and because the SJ sheriffs couldn't find Nick and didn't do their job to get a hold of Nick. Melissa cost me $4,000 to bail out, and I had to call the sheriff for a wellness check and search the whole house for Nick because they still believed he was inside the home. All of this could have been avoided if the SJ sheriffs did their job and was in contact with Nick directly. Those orders said Nick Diaz on them, and they didn't protect Nick. Then they hired an attorney that fraudulently represented Nick, and in the courtroom, Nick on the phone wouldn't speak to him, to his own attorney hired by his mother and Ruben, and made it clear that I am his girl and to leave me alone. All of this wasting Nick's UFC check and money to attack me and lose. All orders were dropped on me. There is no restraining order. Nick and I are fine. I am back home, and I've spoken to him directly, and we are together soon.
Shut the fuck up, bitch!
There's multiple things that are posted on here. So this is from Nick Diaz Army. Who knows who's posting it, but it's a Nick Diaz Facebook or a Nick Diaz Army Facebook page. I'm not all over social media. Nick gave me instructions from day one to get Kayla and her dad out of his house. By the way, he is losing his house because of them. His instructions: one, get Kayla and her dad out of his house. So I asked him to do a video saying so, and he did. That's the video you guys saw 5 or 10 minutes ago. She threatened him with arrest if he returned to his own home. I wrote down everything he told me and had him read it and sign it via a notary. They saw him on video sign it. Also, multiple witnesses were there watching him sign it. They can provide statements. The only reason the unlawful detainer was dropped was because Nick changed his mind, and the restraining order was dropped as well because he changed his mind. Just said it twice. Oh no. The only reason why the unlawful detainer was dropped was because Nick changed his mind, and the restraining order was dropped as well because he changed his mind. He is the one who signed onto both of them initially. I made sure of that. Most of what she posts is nonsense. I contacted her for months when Nick first got into rehab and called her, and she refused to answer her phone or talk to Nick. She has been invited down to see him personally. Every time I called, she didn't answer. She didn't care about Nick until Nick wanted to kick her out of his house. This whole idea of kicking her out was Nick's idea. Number 6, she was sleeping with 2 of Nick's friends, minimum, and Nick was with a girl named Emily and called her his girlfriend to his parents on the phone. He was with Emily prior to getting into rehab because Kayla was sleeping with a friend of his. I was told, number 7, I was told Kayla had videos of him to blackmail him. Also, he told me she was disgusting to him and he hadn't slept with her for years. He also asked me to get back his social media platforms, therefore the restraining order. I wrote out what he told me. Number 8, everything I did was on point to attempt to get him away from this woman when he wanted that. I did not sign anything for him. Nick changes his mind constantly. One day she's his girlfriend or fiance, and then he bangs some girl in rehab and calls another girl his woman, and that he wants to have a child with another woman, not Kayla. This is a circus, people. I'm just presenting all the facts to you guys. You know, I've spoken to Nick, so I don't have to do any assuming anymore. All my questions have been answered by Nick, and I will share that with you at the end of this. Yeah, and then they're just saying this is a circus, people. Kayla is a part of it, and this is why Nick's in rehab. He even said she was the reason he was in rehab. Nick is going to explain why he was in rehab, and it's not because of Kayla. It's not because of Kayla. That if he knew how to get back his house on his own, that he wouldn't be in rehab or ever been on drugs as much as he was. She is the problem. Again, from Nick Diaz Army. Okay, so there was that post. Then there was this post. Look, I've also been Nick's GF slash fiance slash wife. He calls everyone that LOL for 10 years. I will keep my identity private because one thing Nick was good at was protecting me, and over the last 6 years, he especially wanted me protected from Kayla. He was living with me a while back and in a rehab treatment, but left my house and the treatment the second Kayla found out where he was. I have visited him in the current rehab facility he is in, which, by the way, is the best thing for him and the best I have seen him in years. After the hugs and the catching up, the first thing he mentioned was, is Kayla out of my house? How much longer? How do I get my social media back from her? Then he went on to tell me all the things he was working on, but that's none of y'all's business except the part where he mentioned how Kayla is manipulative, how she blackmails him, how he can't get rid of her, how her dad threatens him, and how crazy the whole situation was, and reminded me he wanted me away from all that. I've kept my mouth shut for a very long time. And then BJJ Ninja Recovery, posting for a family member slash advocate. This squatter, dumb bitch, just won't stop her campaign. Some people are so lost in touch with reality. There's no reason to record a conversation during a recovery session while in rehab and post on social media about Nick Diaz 209's personal life and mental state of mind. I believed this is harmful than good in helping my brother Nick to heal and move on to the next phase of the program. This woman who claims to be Nick's fiance and wants to have a baby with Nick, and Martin, who is Nick's former roommate, wants to be in a happy marriage. This woman is delusional and needs heavy medication or needs to get off drugs herself. All of Nick's family and friends just want to see Nick get better. Those of us helping Nick want nothing in return. All we want to see is Nick to live the life that he deserves. Please keep supporting and pray for my brother Nick Diaz 209. Again, you know, the way BJJ Ninja Recovery posts, it makes it seem like, you know, how could he be lying about Nick? His heart's in the right place, but Nick doesn't support this. I'm going to tell you guys again, Nick doesn't support BJJ Ninja Recovery's posts that he's making about him. And apparently here's what it is. Nick calls recorded by Kayla is a crime. Releasing recorded all of Nick's therapy sessions, which is protected health information. Recording calls without his consent. In addition to making Nick look bad due to his changing emotions while in rehab, she failed to release his words that make her look bad and tell a different story. And I got information that he's pissed that she's releasing his therapy sessions where he's on the phone with her. You can see on the calls she's baiting him. Only a narcissist would record calls of a therapy session and bait the patient. Nick is confronting his past and trying to make sense of it. That's the reason for the calls. Nick asked her to stop posting, and she posted, "Fuck your Mexican rehab." Kayla helped him to relapse. Thank you, Kayla, for relapsing Nick and ruining Nick's reputation. Nick really appreciates that you listened to him. It's a dumb bitch. Now to get into the update from Nick, right? You guys heard everything from that. Now to get into the update from Nick. Okay. Let me just get to the bottom of all this Nick Diaz stuff. I'm going to read you guys a lot of messages here. So Nick DM'd me. He said, "Hey, bro, can you please stop talking bad about my girl? I got drugged and kidnapped for no reason and trapped for a year. I was not on drugs. I was 175, ready to fight. I walk around at 200, so I understand the concern. But anyone that says otherwise, I will deal with when I see them, and I will see them at some point. She was making fun of me after picking me up from a 10-mile run for burning an incense and sticking it in the ground. If you watch the video closely, I was not spun out. Okay, so let's take a look at the video Nick is referring to, because to be honest with you guys, you know, I will say I was the very first one who posted this video of Nick, right? Last year, I posted this video of Nick first after it surfaced online. And, you know, everyone was telling me that's not really Nick Diaz. You're a dumbass. Of course it was fucking Nick. Okay? Of course it was fucking Nick. All right, here's the video Nick's talking about that I just, from the message I read that he sent me, right? This is the video he's talking about. 12 million views. 12 million views this post got. All right? I captioned it. A video of Nick Diaz by himself, shirtless in public, trying to light a random piece of grass on fire has surfaced online ahead of his MMA return against Vicente Luque on December 7th. So he was about a month out because I posted this on November 9th, 2024. And then I said thoughts on this video surfacing shortly after his fight with Luque got announced. Now, it turns out Nick was lighting incense. I got more on this, but Nick was lighting incense, number one. Number two, he just got done with a 10-mile run. Number three, he was in shape, ready for the Vicente Luque fight. So that explains, you know, the skinniness. That explains maybe being shirtless or whatever. That explains lighting incense. And again, it's not for me to make opinions anymore. I spoke to Nick directly. I'm going to just relay the information Nick is sharing, and I will let you guys form your opinions, okay? I will let you guys form your opinions. But here's the video Nick messaged me about. And, you know, a lot of people were saying Nick's girlfriend posted this. He confirmed it. Nick confirmed it to me. Nick's girlfriend did post this. She was making fun of him for doing this, okay?
Nick,
What? What are you doing?
are you okay?
Who's that for?
Are you all right?
Yes.
One more time.
Nick,
What? What are you doing?
are you okay?
Who's that for?
Are you all right?
Yes.
Okay. So back to the messages from Nick, the updates from Nick, right? I got them for you. I got them for you. I told you guys exclusive update only from me. So I basically, you know, I told Nick, you know, I won't speak bad about your girl. Apologize if I have in the past. Most likely it was in reaction to what Jose Garcia has been saying about her, you know, and all that stuff. And then I said, I still have some questions about what's been going on over the past year if you'd be willing to answer. He said, sure. So I said, why does Jose Garcia keep posting negative things about your girl and Martin Sano Jr.? And then, you know, he added this in from the previous thing we were talking about, which was that incense video, this one right here. And he says, I burn incense in the dirt for my dead friends and girlfriend. My girlfriend died in the same spot as this guy who died and was found frozen a year later. His family would leave incense where they found him, so I would always do the same. My girl now likes to make fun of me. There is something wrong with Jose. He is old and on a sick one. Okay, so Nick Diaz was saying he wasn't lighting grass on fire in this video. He was lighting incense because this is where his girlfriend and his friend died, apparently. So right here, he's saying, I burn incense in the dirt for my dead friends and girlfriend. My girl died in the same spot as this guy who died and was found frozen a year later. His family would leave incense where they found him, so I would always do the same. My girl now likes to make fun of me. Okay, so that's what he's explaining here. Okay, we finally have the answer from Nick Diaz himself. From Nick Diaz himself. All right. And now speaking on BBJ Ninja Recovery, and, you know, him saying negative things about Kay and Martin Sano Jr., who Nick is photographed with right here, fresh out of rehab, first day out of rehab, he's with Martin Sano. Okay, so obviously what BBJ Ninja Recovery has been saying has been somewhat cap, or I don't know. Anyway, I told Nick, I said, I've been going off information he's been posting because he seems like he has your back, but I guess not. And then Nick responds, he goes, Junior and my girl are all I have and have been for the last 7 years since me and Heather split up. And then he said, I know, and I don't know where they got that bad pic of me, but it was just a bad pic. So there's been a couple bad pics that BBJ Ninja Recovery has posted about Nick. Let's just pull up all the context, right? Because we're covering the whole story in its entirety right now. This might be one of the bad pics that Nick is referring to. This one was showing that he looks better, right? But this is the bad pic that he might be referring to. And then even look at it here too, right? BBJ says, reporting the first picture taken about a year ago when Nick Diaz was under Martin Sandro and Kayla's care. Both took advantage. Second pick, 11/28/2025. Welfare checkup for Nick Diaz. Thank you for all of your concerns for my brother Nick. Nick is still in the program and doing well. Of course, he wants to go home early and not finish the program, which is accurate. Nick has not wanted to fucking finish the program. He has wanted to come home early. He doesn't feel like he has a problem. But anyway, which is not advised by the program director and his advocates. He has partially recovered from the substance use, but still has a lot of scar tissue to be healed according to the current MRI results. Never mind Nick's ex-girlfriend trying to pull Nick out of rehab for her benefits because currently she has to evacuate Nick's house where she is squatting for a while. She's not the brightest crayon in the box. Nick is persuading her to get him out early and get back out. So they're not taking, so see how Nick is, like, this is all accurate. You know, Nick has been asking her to get him out, but the people close to Nick, you know, they don't want him to get out. So if you guys are not reading between the lines here, basically, I think Nick's immediate family, you know, including his mom, including his cousin Ruben, including BBJ Ninja Recovery, maybe Nate, I don't know, but maybe Nate, they all want Nick in rehab. Nick doesn't want to be in rehab. And the only person who's really communicating and listening to him and trying to obey his wishes is Kay. All right. I'm just relaying everything. Continuing. Also, to make the circus more messy, she now has a restraining order on Sano Jr., who has a warrant for his arrest currently. To make matters worse, Nick's property is being auctioned off. It went to foreclose. Caesar deposit some money for Nick and Kayla. The money was, oh, actually, that whole thing about Caesar turned out to be capped, so I'm not even going to confuse you guys by reading it. Okay, so it also goes, the next step for Diaz is to hopefully go to a CTE/TBI program to help him heal from the brain scarring from all the years of fighting. Nick's ex is trying to make it look like Nick is being abused and mistreated, which is false. Nick told me he's been being abused and mistreated. She has used AI technology to create illusions of Nick being with her recently. Don't believe that Nick was kidnapped and is being abused. Nick told me he was kidnapped, and he told me he was abused, essentially. Y'all look at the current picture sent to me by his advocates who asked me to post for Diaz and his advocates. Now let me enjoy the holidays with my family minus the drama. Okay, so that's a bad picture that Nick might have been referring to, but there was a couple other ones too. Maybe they've been deleted by now. They've been posted over the last several months. If you guys have seen them, you've seen them. So here he is posting about Kayla getting locked up, saying posting for family members in regards to the public disrespect of Kayla the squatter to Nick Diaz's mom. This narcissistic ex-girlfriend was arrested for violating court orders. It's on public record. This ex-girlfriend, after a week away, broke in back in Nick Diaz's house and barricaded herself. The video surveillance alerted Nick Diaz's mom, so she called the police to get the ex out, but the sheriff's department couldn't do anything about it because the Diaz family have to go through the eviction process all over again. This incident got Kay panties bunched up mad, and got her acting wild on social media for more attention, attacking Nick Diaz's mom good name. Everything Kayla says is a lying scheme to get back with Nick. Kayla, why don't you get a life and stop publicly disgracing yourself and disrespecting Nick's mother? Nick Diaz's personal life has ignited fresh controversy as his girlfriend, known as Kay, publicly accused the UFC star's mother, Melissa Diaz, of filing a fake restraining order against her. In a heated Instagram story on September 8th, 2025, Kay called Melissa a bad person, claiming the legal action was unjust despite Kay's support for Nick. I haven't done anything bad enough to deserve my future mother-in-law to attack me and put a fake restraining order and make all these lies up when he loves me. Unacceptable, she wrote. This follows Kay's earlier allegations that Nick was forcibly taken to a Mexico rehab facility by his cousin Ruben, which Nick fucking says is true. Claims refuted by Diaz's coach, Cesar Gracie, who insists Nick is healthy and well and denies Kay's girlfriend's status. The MMA community remains divided, with fans on X debating Kay's credibility, absent Nick's own statement. Well, now we have a statement from Nick. And Kay has been nothing but credible after speaking to Nick, I must say. Tracy Collins, somebody's name, Tracy Collins, goes, Jose Garcia, oh, for sure, hopefully justice will prevail. I mean, how could someone possibly get away with all the abuse, torture, theft, blackmail, doxing, squatting, stalking, etc. that is done to him? Jose responds, oh, wait, it skipped. Just going over her fucking rap sheet and shit. Here's what Kay said about Nick's mom. She's a bad person. I used to defend her when he talked bad about his own mom and was calling her a dumb bitch and making her cry. I don't care what I've done. I haven't done anything bad enough to deserve my future mother-in-law to attack me and put a fake restraining order and make all these lies up when he loves me. Unacceptable. Okay. Nick does clearly love Kay. Nick clearly loves Kay. See, so here's some other things that BBJ Ninja Recovery had been posting over the months. You know, Nick, good morning. Some clowns are going to say it's Photoshop or AI. Anyways, I am pleased to share the latest update on my good friend, along with a photograph taken yesterday, 8/16/25. Diaz's current standings are truly impressive. It is heartwarming to see you have support from someone who genuinely cares about you. Your success is evident in the priceless smile on Nick Diaz. You deserve this major upgrade in happiness. So let me go back to the DMs, read a few more DMs for you. So here's what else Nick had to say. Okay, so Nick added, he says, that place they sent me to, Angso, look it up, it's bad. They would hogtie people there and kick the shit out of them. My cousin Ruben is crazy and stole all my money, had my girl kicked out on the street. And then I asked Nick, I said, what did I say? I said, if there's any other message you want me to share with your supporters, let me know and I'll read it out on stream. He says, I never needed treatment, had anger management once, that was good, but I haven't even been a big drinker since TMZ in Hollywood. That was bad, but that was all I was, just sad. So Nick is saying he was just sad. Me and Heather broke up after I had Ruben at my place and Jose was crazy, freaked her out. She was a good girl, should have got her a dog and stayed home, but wasn't ready after losing fights. Okay. So Nick's girlfriend Heather broke up with him after he had Ruben and Jose at his house, apparently. And I also asked Nick, I said, I saw Jose said something about Ruben and your mom getting your girl kicked out of your house. I believed him because I thought your family was doing what you asked them to do. And then he says, my mom is old and messes things up for me. I'm fighting, okay, I'm trying to read these in order. So yeah, his response was, my mom is old and messes things up for me. Then I said, what are your plans now that you're out? He says, I'm fighting, that's all I can do, so that's what I will do. And I said, are you still under contract with UFC? He says, I'll find out tomorrow. And then he also adds that Ruben said if I did what he asked, he would let me out or help me get out, but he was just crazy and keeping me locked up. Okay, so the part where he says if I did what he asked, that was sending in that video, giving permission to get Kayla kicked out of his house. I told Nick, maybe run some boxing. Nick says, I want to box, but I have to be all the way off contract, I believe. And I go, yeah, true. I saw a report that you aren't on the UFC roster anymore about a month ago. He goes, I know, I just saw that. And then I said, or he adds, I don't want to ask UFC myself because they didn't help me get free. They really ruined it for me. I say, UFC didn't help you? He goes, no, they paid to have me locked up. I go, damn, what the fuck? He says, I'm old enough to drink and fuck my life off if I want. This is a free country. So they kidnapped and drugged me. Claimed to drug test me too, but that's not true. I was never drug tested. In Mexico. I don't know why Ruben's not in jail. And I said, no, I feel you. I just think a lot of people care about you and maybe they didn't want to see you, that happen to you as far as fuck your life off. But kidnapping and drugging you as a grown man is not cool. And then I said, who do you think should be in jail? Ruben? He says, yes. And then he goes, sure, but I was fighting. I wasn't fucking my life off. Not at all. And I said, I feel you. Because when he got, locked, or when he went to rehab and stuff, he had a fight coming up. So he's saying he was in shape and all that stuff. And then Nick goes, he thinks I'm in denial and I stayed that way for a year, LOL. Just speaking about Ruben and going against all of his wishes to get out of rehab. So he basically told Nick he was in denial for a whole year. And Nick claims, no, I'm not in denial. I just don't want to fucking be here. And then I go, damn, how did you get out anyway if they're trying to keep you? He says, this guy helped me get out. Called my mom and told her she needs to get me out. My whole family is chronic procrastinators. I said, I see. Well, glad to see you're out and hanging with Jake. I said, are you planning on staying sober and everything, or what is your thoughts about smoking weed and drinking now? And he says, I haven't had a drink for like 5 years for the most part. All right. And I got some juicy news for you guys. I do got some juicy news for you guys. All right, here's the juicy news. I said, I asked Nick, I said, well, I'm glad to see you're out and hanging with Jake Shields. You and Nate's still cool. Nick responds, no. He needs to slap Jose. And I go, damn, yeah, that's why it's so confusing because I thought Jose can't be lying or else Nate would have checked him. Nick says about Nate, I would have gone and broke him out the first week. We are not the same. So Nick is kind of, upset that his brother Nate hasn't bailed him out of rehab for all this time. And then I responded and I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of everything, so I can't comment on Nate, but I would assume he wants the best for you. Nick says, I made that fool. I would do anything to save him from that place or those people. And then I responded, I said, maybe he just fell for the same fake news too, ? Nick says, we live different lives, but that's no excuse. I'll be fine. I don't need him. Like he needs me. And I said, I'm sorry to hear that about your brother, man. Hopefully you guys worked things out about what went down over the last year. And then he says, me too, I don't understand. I hope he is okay. He seems to be. I say, yeah, he seems to be doing good from what I see online. That's when I said, I got to ask though, you down to pop on my live for a minute and say what's up to the fans? He says, no, can you please say something nice about my girl? I sat in this place for a year watching you trash her. Let me get a fight, then I'll come on. You can tell them that. And then I said, yes, I will say something nice about her. All that stuff. And then last thing, pretty much, Nick was saying, that place made me fat. Jose is a creep. I don't know why he lost his mind. He was always crazy, though. One time he beat up my driver in front of Heather, and she was so scared I had to tell her, no, babe, it's okay. I had blood all over my hands from breaking them up. I weigh 202 pounds. I'll beat Pereira or Hamzat. They should let me fight one. And then he told me I should have beat Lawler, but was a bad fight for me while things were that bad. I had broke neck, but got surgery. I can fight now. No, I wasn't thrilled about that. I'm going to break Jose's arm. He wants me to go back to being locked up. LOL. Okay. So that's the exclusive. That is the exclusive update from Mr. Nick Diaz. Let me respond to one of his DMs real quick. Tyler Bet says this is either Nick's GF or Anshul Jubilee. It's definitely Nick in my opinion. But we'll see. Like I said, the proof that I got that it's Nick is that he said, give me Hamza or Alex Pereira. That was like, all right, this is fucking Nick. K's not going to say, give me Hamza or Alex Pereira. Mule Boy says, who the fuck is hog tying Nick Diaz? Whoever it is, let me shake his hand because he's a bad motherfucker. I'm dead. I'm dead. AD Kid is telling me, Jacob, a person addicted to drugs and women who is only looking for themselves can easily manipulate the current events. All right, AD Kid, I got you. AD says, Jacob, perhaps some of Nick's day one friends need to come out and help him, but Nick may not want any help. It's definitely a possibility, AD Kid. That's what I'll say. I want to be respectful because I am speaking with Nick directly. And, you know, these are questions we can ask him once we get him on. But I will say that, you know, that could definitely be the situation at hand, AD Kid. I wouldn't rule that out yet. We got to let time kind of play things out a little bit and see. AD says, Jacob, the burning of the incense sounds believable, but most folks at a drug rehab want to get out, and they often leave rehab only relapse. Nah, I know, I feel you. But Nick is claiming he don't got a drug problem, right? So I'm just going to share you guys, you know, what Nick would say. Nick would say, I don't got a drug problem. Is it our job to assume he does have a drug problem? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's our job to assume he got a drug problem. He's saying he doesn't. He explained the video, right, where he was burning the incense, why he was looking skinny, right, why his girl was filming him, making fun of him, trolling him. So I don't know. All I can say is, you know, what I've heard from Nick.